What's going on, everybody? Week 9 is officially in the books. Joe Spears here alongside Scott Burton and Cam, who is on his way to Rocky Top right now to see the Vols hopefully beat Alabama. Go Vols. Gentlemen, how we doing this morning?
We're awake.
Yeah, barely. It's very tired, but it's the third Saturday in October, so we got to get ourselves in gear for this game this afternoon.
Trying to get Instagram going. It's always the problem child of the streaming. Scott, big night last night. You caught some of the games. We'll get to them. Any games in particular that stood out to you?
Oh, of course, the Lebanon Mount Juliet game that was my primary focus last night. But in a whole, it was a big comeback win for Mount Juliet. But the number of comeback wins last night that we saw and some close games just kind of reminds you that rivalry games are you got to throw the record out, right? With rivalry games, there's a whole other level of there's just a whole other level of animosity and competition and rivalry. We saw it in Portland, Hendersonville. We saw it in we saw it in that Mount Juliet game. This is a fun time of season. This is when you get the histories going and you get those, teams really get the fire in that belly, and teams that may not be having the greatest season, they do have something to play for, and that's pride.
Right. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get into some games. We'll start off on Monday, as weird as that sounds. Liberty Creek Stratford got going on Monday evening, which was very weird. It did not feel right. But hey, football's football. Stratford actually gets things going. Vontravius White actually wearing number 1 that night. He breaks loose for the first touchdown of the game. Stratford's up early, but Mac Tuggle, he answers right back. Long touchdown run here to get the Wolves back on the board. Great game so far. Liberty Creek then takes control here. Short little touchdown pass right before the half. They're up 14-7, I believe. It's been since Monday. I can't remember the exact score at that time. They pounded in Mac Tuggle one more. That wasn't Mac Tuggle. But, hey, 2 touchdowns on the night. But, hey, Stratford's not giving up. Nice little completion here to Vontravius White, who he had himself a night. But, no, it was a fumble. Weird play. Weird play. I think we were all on the sideline thinking Stratford was about to make a run. Stratford holds Liberty Creek to a punt. In the very next play, score on this little nice touchdown. It's a 1-possession game. This was a blowout earlier in the season, guys. But Mac Tuggle, nice little reverse back, takes it in. It's 28-14 Liberty Creek at this point. Stratford would answer on its next drive. White with his second rushing touchdown of the evening. And we got a 1-possession game. Stratford happened a lot. Ball was on the ground a lot. They somehow kept getting it back. White hurls it deep on 4th and long. Pass is broken up, and Liberty Creek ends up walking away with the 7-point win. So, weird game. Weird Monday night game. Didn't count for the region purposes, but they both wanted to get 10 wins in, and they both got 10 wins in. That's essentially what matters. So, now we can get on to week 9. Watertown, Grundy County really kicking things off in a banger of a game. The Fighting Isaac Leadhams get the 1-point win. I'm sure he was happy to see that. Big win for Watertown.
Yeah, it was huge. Blake Waldorf engineering a late 89-yard scoring drive that ended with an Ethan Owens great catch with 18 seconds left. Brody Osborne extra point gives them the 1-point Purple Tiger win. But it's really the Watertown defense, despite the score, getting those 3 turnovers that really kind of turned the tide of the game.
Yeah, I had to have it for the Purple Tigers for playoff purposes. This win, and then if they're able to beat Community, I believe that would put them 3rd in that region there.
All right, what we got next, Scott?
Oh. Sorry, I forgot I was controlling that part.
Good. Beach, we'll start off with last night's game now. Beach 35-20 win over Siegel. Closer game maybe than what, or not as close of a game as maybe what the final score indicates. I believe Beach was up 35-7 going into the fourth quarter. Never really in danger here. East Nashville gets the 42-13 win over Cane Ridge. The Eagles, big win. Cane Ridge just still in that rebuild mode. East Nashville, without a lot of key guys like KJ Johnson, but they're still 6-2 on the year and just quietly just kind of sitting there making some noise.
Yes, Cane Ridge seems very young. East Nashville, despite the difference in regions, very, very good and very, very seasoned.
Canyon County, big win over Cascade. The Lions are having themselves one of their better years in recent memory. It seems like every win they have, they're putting up 48, more than 40 points a game. So big win for them. They moved to 6-3 on the year. Cascade 1-7. Brentwood, 20-10 win over Centennial. Bruins get a defensive score late to kind of seal the deal. This was a close game throughout. Centennial gets some points later after trailing early, but Brentwood moves to 7-1, and Centennial, another close loss to a pretty good team. Nothing to hang their heads about.
No, this game, like you said, was tighter than it looked, than the final score indicated, and a solid win. But Brentwood just keeps chugging along
like they do. Kind of the weird score of the night. Kenwood blowout win over a Dixon County team that's had some pretty good wins this year. Did not see this one coming at all. Knights 41-13 win over the Cougars, and none of us picked this game.
No, this is Kenwood defeats Dixon County for the first time in 10 years. Josiah Brand had a hat trick. He rushed for a score, had a 50-yard scoop and score, and he caught a touchdown from Jacoby Cox, who had 2 rushing touchdowns of his own. This game was 21-0 Knights early, and really the outcome was never really in danger.
Nashville Christian hosts Fayetteville, and there's no issue at all. Jared Curtis goes off once again. The Tigers fall to a really good Eagles team, and Nashville Christian just kind of doing what Nashville Christian does at this point in the season.
Yeah, 384 yards of total offense for the Eagles. Jared Curtis, like you said, 233 yards and 4 scores.
Ravenwood 28-7 wins over Franklin, but this game was much closer than the score indicates. 14-7 game going into the fourth quarter. Ravenwood gets a couple of touchdowns. Franklin, really a lot of self-imposed issues there, a lot of penalties, some turnovers. This Franklin team is really good, but I think this just kind of shows what level Ravenwood's on.
Yeah, you said it. The Admirals had 2 chances inside the 10, including a first and goal at the 2 that were thwarted by personal foul penalties that pushed them way back. Once the Raptors took a 2-score lead, there was really no turning back.
York Institute scores a 80-yard touchdown, I believe, with 4 minutes to go to beat Friendship Christian. Corlando Barton had himself a really good night, but much higher scoring game than when these two teams played last year. York Institute had some big plays, and Friendship Christian had to grind out some drives. Not a bad loss at all for Friendship. York's really good, but the Dragons get their payback with a 3-point win.
It was 89 yards. Cole Brannon and big plays kind of doomed the Commanders. This game kind of went back and forth. Friendship gave up 200 yards passing, but 156 yards of those were on 2 passes, one for 67 yards, one for 89 yards. Corlando Barton, like you said, had another good game, 133 and 3 scores.
Green Hill gets its get back over Laverne after Laverne, probably one of the shocking results of last year, beat the Hawks then at Green Hill. Green Hill goes on the road, never an issue in this one. They keep rolling. Another shutout for them. They've posted quite a few of those this year. You could argue this is the best start. I mean, this the best Green Hill team we've seen so far in their young history? You could argue that, and Halloween night's looking much, much more intriguing. We'll get to Mount Juliet here in a bit, but Green Hill 8-0 on the year. Pro Cone host Greenbrier, no issues at all. Javion Kennard showing why he's a Mr. Football, why he should be a Mr. Football finalist and in the discussion. Quite a few touchdowns on the night for him, including a pair of kickoff returns for touchdowns. At some point, you stop kicking to the guy because every time he touches the ball, he takes it for 6. Go ahead if you want to. Pro Cone, dominant win, and they're kind of rolling right now after those 2 losses to start the year. They figured some things out. Got Marshall County on Halloween night. That's going to be massive. That's for the region title. But right now, they're taking care of the teams they should take care of.
Yeah, LJ Funk, he just also is getting better back there at the quarterback position. He threw for 3 scores in this as well. So, like you said, Joe, Pearl-Cohn just rolling right now. We'll see how far they can go.
Wild game here. Portland loses to Hendersonville by 3. Am I a jinx? I might be. I was texting my boss, Dustin, who is a Portland grad. He was giving me updates. Portland was up 28-14. I was like, oh, well, that one's over. No, Hendersonville scores 17 straight, including a wild broken play with less than a minute to go. Hendersonville takes the lead, and kind of like what they did against Springfield, they trailed, found a way back in the 4th quarter, and now they're in a great position to finish as the 2nd seed in the region.
I think we called them the Cardiac Commandos.
Cardiac Commandos.
Yeah, but the thing was, Portland was in control of this game, and the Commandos could not get them off the field on 3rd down. I'm hope to get the time of possession because it would tell, I think, a completely different tale. But Hendersonville finds a way.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's what they've done this year. Aside from the 2 blowout losses, that's a good team.
Yeah,
they're not bad. They got a lot of young guys, but this one, just, I don't know. It was a wild game. No, no, with the comment. I do not hate Marshall County. I think they're very good. Their fans are just they're a little much sometimes.
And we'll move on.
Page 38-0 win over Hillsboro. I tried to tell you guys. Just didn't see a world where Hillsboro scored in this game, and Page doing what they've done all year. They've given up 6 points in 8 games. That's absurd.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah, I just never can just pick somebody. I just never pick a shutout because I just always think there's a way. But Eric Hazard 2 sacks. Like you said, as Page, I guess tries to start another streak. Michael Grangine, 110 yards passing and a score. Isaac Odie had a score, and just Page does what it does.
2 big games for them coming up: Centennial and Nolensville.
Yep.
Springfield, Dustin Wilson picks up win number 100, joining Boyce Smith as the only coaches in school history to hit that magical number. No issues against Hunter's Lane. The Yellow Jackets on what was a beautiful looking field. Those end zones were spectacular. The Yellow Jackets 4-4. Realistically, they're a couple possessions away from being one of the better 5A teams around here. They're 4-4. I think they're solidly in the playoffs at this point. You would think maybe as the 3. 35-0 win over Hunter's Lane. They're a pretty good team. I wouldn't want to play them in the postseason personally.
I was about to say if they're the 3 and they're on the road, I would not want to see them coming to my field. They're that good. Cam Cobbins had another good night, 2 touchdowns. Kason Woodson, 154 yards and 4 scores. So the Springfield team's playing very well.
Independence goes on the road to Fairview and dominates the Yellow Jackets 30-0. 2 wins on the year for Independence. They got a massive game coming up against Summit. That's for a playoff spot, essentially. But kind of shocked that this was a shutout personally, but hey, the Eagles, Scottsdale knows how to get wins when they need them, and they desperately need this win. They got their offense going.
They play in a killer conference and or a region. In any other region, I don't think they're 2-6.
Yeah.
It's just that Williamson County region is it's just murderer's row.
Lipscomb Academy hosts Knox Catholic, and the young 8th grader Ty Snell goes off. But the story in this one was Cam Blivens. Over 200 yards receiving, 4 touchdowns. Mustangs have found their offense. It's a scary thought because that defense is pretty good. They're finally figuring out ways to win. They got a massive game against Brentwood Academy next week. 47 points is by far the most they've scored since maybe 2 years ago at this point now. That's huge. Ty Snell's looking really good as an 8th grader.
Yeah, it really seems to have jump-started their offense. He threw for 241 yards, 3 touchdowns in this game, as you said, and then I believe Schaefer came in and threw the other touchdown, all of them to Cam Blivens. So, it's really since he's joined the team, he's really jump-started the offense. Snell.
223 yards for Blivens. Last night averaged 25 yards a catch. That's pretty good.
That's pretty good football.
Nolensville hosts Lawson. Kind of a close game early on, but the Knights end up taking care of business. 30-point win over the Lightning. This Lawson team is still figuring things out. It's a young program. Nolensville just kind of doing what Nolensville does, though. They're chugging along, and the Week 11 matchup against Page is looking like it'll be a fun one. Eagleville hosts Loretto in another game I think we all got wrong. Loretto goes to Eagleville and walks away with a 7-point loss. That's a really good win for this Eagles team. I believe Loretto beat up on them last year, potentially. I could be wrong. But good win for Eagleville. They're 5-3 on the year, and they're looking like another team you wouldn't want to play in the postseason.
Yeah, Caleb Schnitzer had 163 yards rushing and a score. Nolan Lane had a pick 6, and Eagleville. Yeah, I mean they're playing pretty well right now.
Macaulay has the Father Ryan and kind of does what we thought they would do. 41-8 win. It is what it is. Macaulay's a really good team. Father Ryan's playing this brutal 2-game stretch where they had to go to Innsworth and then they host Macaulay. Nothing to hang their heads about there. They just lost to 2 really good teams the last 2 weeks. Cam, they scored. Cam. They scored. Monterey 49-7 win over Trousdale County. Yeah, it is what it is. But hey, they scored. That's progress.
I mean, this is a young Trousdale County team, and they just keep getting better every week.
We have not talked about Dixon County yet. We'll get there.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, did we?
Kenwood.
We did. I'm an idiot. It's Monday. It's Saturday morning. We did. Yeah, good win for Kenwood. Shocker of the night.
Yeah.
Isaac had a great game. Mount Juliet scores late to beat Lebanon. When these two teams get together, something crazy is always going to happen. Last year it was the 28-7 rally from Mount Juliet. This year, I don't know why that went off. This year they just played another classic, and Mount Juliet walks away. This is going to love to hate when that episode comes out. It's going to be fantastic.
It's going to be amazing. Yeah, the Bears just found a way to continue their winning ways against a Bluedale team was able to rack up 250 yards rushing against one of the better defenses in the state. But yeah, Tyler Travers scores from a yard out with under 3 minutes to go. after they convert a 4th and 4 at the Lebanon 28. And it was really Lebanon, grinding it out most of the game. Harrison Edwards, a tremendous night, 25 carries, 156 yards, and 2 touchdowns. But again, Mount Juliet just finds a way.
Do I rank Green Hill or above Mount Juliet because of how much they beat Lebanon by, or do I take into account that Mount Juliet beat Lebanon on the road? We shall see.
Ooh,
MJCA picks up the 37-19 win over Glencliff. Really good win for the Saints. The Colts, they're figuring some things out. They're just not there yet.
Yeah.
Oakland rolls. Oakland goes on the road to Coffee County. I'm sure they're not exactly too happy about giving up 10 points to the Red Raiders, but it is what it is. Oakland 8-0. Their game is next week. Ravenwood at Oakland is the game everyone's going to be at. It's what everybody's going to be talking about. They got through this week. That's all that matters.
This was weird. You look at the stat sheet, and these teams' stats look fairly even until you look at the time of possession. And Coffee County held the ball for over 30 minutes to Oakland's 15-22. Oakland had the ball for 3 minutes in the first quarter, 2.5 in the second quarter, 7 minutes in the third, and a whopping 2 minutes and 21 seconds in the fourth. That's efficiency. Oakland defense and special teams both got on the board as Chase Bandy had a 35-yard block punt return for score, and Cullen Williams added a 22-yard pick six. But yeah, that time of possession just jumped out at me. How much Coffee County was able to hold on to the ball. Sorry, technology's causing me issues.
It happens. Summit gets their offense going in the best way possible. 48 points in a 48-7 win over Overton. Yeah, this one I was shocked by how lopsided this one was. I thought it might be a little closer, but really big win for the Spartans.
Yeah, they really took out their frustrations on Overton. Mason McElhaney threw for over 100 yards, had 2 touchdowns. So did Jackson Cranky with 68 yards on 8 carries. And yeah, Summit takes out some frustrations in a region game over Overton.
Clay County rolls in the Battle of the Bulldogs. No real shock here. 49-0 win over Red Bowling Springs.
Yeah, Clay County is putting it together right now at the right time.
All right, let's get some highlights. Cam, Cam's driving through the mountains right now. Cam, can you hear us? Can you hear us, Cam?
I can. That was DJ Taylor taking it in for the opening score. Dropped what could have been a pick six there for Blackman. Don't know the young man's name, but 79 for Blackman was a force all night. And what a catch right here by John Drago. Tied things up at 7. Blackman had an opportunity right before half, but run out of time to start the second half after a roughing the punter call. DJ Taylor takes it in. Riverdale takes a 14-7 at Malachi Thielen, first down of the game. And Riverdale takes a 21-7 lead. And then after this fumble recovery and some more Blackman penalties, Riverdale was able to tack on a field goal for the final score, 24-7. And Riverdale was very fired up to win the backyard brawl.
Yeah, so Riverdale 24-7 win over Blackman. They are solidly in contention for a top 2 spot now. I mean, they're there. They beat Oakland. They're the one. Battle of the Borough, always a explosive game, and it's looking to be that way again.
Yeah, DJ Taylor returns, I think, after a 3-game absence for injury. Racks up 91 yards rushing and 2 scores. Like Cam said, Warriors score 17 unanswered after the break. So, that's a 6th straight team game that they've held a team to single digits. That Riverdale's defense is for real.
They're legit. JP2 good offense just goes off with Golden Tate, my favorite Notre Dame player of all time in attendance. 49-28 win over Rockville. What their quarterback do last night, Scott?
Oh, you're going to ask me that while I was on my other screen. Hold on just a second. Yeah, it's
big night for Hudson Coleman.
Yeah, he was 13-22 for 325 and 5 scores.
Jalen Morgan had a couple of really nice rushing touchdowns for Rockville, but their defense just could not stop a nosebleed last night. JP2 rolls, and good win for the Knights, it's a young team that they're one of those young teams that is getting better, unlike Trousdale County. Westmoreland rolls into a 35-6 win over Smith County. Big night for Cooper White. He had over 130 yards rushing and 4 touchdowns. He had 140 yards and 4 touchdowns on 15 carries. Eagles get the Owls like they would in real life.
Yeah, the party's on at the Rock Pile. First region championship since 2006 for the Eagles.
It's going to be a very fun atmosphere when the postseason rolls around.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't want to go there. All right, this is the game I was at last night. Stewart's Creek, they got it. Oh, well, hold on. We got to rewind because I was watching it earlier. Stewart's Creek hosting Smyrna, de facto region championship game. This was kind of the story of the first half. Neither offensive line could get much push. Just ugly football in the first half. And first big break of the night went Stewart's Creek way. Fumble recovery here by Grady Harvey. He jumps on it. Stewart's Creek didn't end up doing anything with it, though. Late in the third quarter, we got Jerry Taylor finding Harvey again. This time he bullies his way in for 6-0 at Stewart's Creek at this point. They got all the momentum, especially after this play. Keelan Harris absolutely blows up the Smyrna quarterback. 1 of 5 sacks on the night for him. Caleb Floyd punching it in here, and it's all Stewart's Creek at this point, guys. I mean, the momentum has shifted. Keelan Harris puts the finishing touches on the game, and it was at this point pick to end it. And oh well, that's not the pick. This is the pick off a tip. It is what it is. Stewart's Creek finally gets past Smyrna, and the scenes after the game were incredible. Just celebration everywhere. They know that they have the driver's seat to the region now, and the Red Hawks are really good, especially defensively. I think they really are happy about that 0 on the other side of the board. Station Camp 14-7 win over Creekwood. We knew this game was going to be close. Station Camp scores late, I believe, or late in the third quarter to take the lead, and then their defense just holds.
Yeah, Creekwood had a 7-0 lead at halftime in this game. Another decent performance by Colton Overby, but ultimately it was the defense for Station Camp that's come along. We talked about the confidence that they have displayed over the last couple of weeks, competing right there with Pearl-Cohn, and then really just handling a pretty good White House running attack. Another good week for the Bison.
Stratford playing 2 games in 1 week. The Spartans get the win over Maplewood. That's huge. Big win for the Spartans. They needed that. Good momentum. Maplewood, they gave it their all. I mean, they trailed a lot of this game, and they kept it close. But good win for Stratford playing on a very, 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 very short week.
Yeah. Alterian Frazier, 120 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns. Spartans salvaged the week with this win over Maplewood.
MTCS and the Kings Academy played one of the better games last night. MTS picking up the 7-point win. If you wanted points, this was the game for you.
Yeah, Cougars fought off a furious comeback. They had I think a 37-20 lead at one time, maybe no, I'm sorry, a 30-20 14 lead at one time. Ali Bangura rushed for 201 yards, 3 scores for the Cougars. Shy Murphy added a 96-yard touchdown catch. I think they threw 2 passes, and one of them was this. And Kings Academy came back late, but just come up short.
The Web Feet blow out Good Pasture. It's weird every time you say that, to be honest with you. It's such a weird name.
That's a weird mess.
It's weird. Web School 54-35 wins over Good Pasture. Good Pasture offensively playing much better than they were earlier in the season. Defensively, they're still giving up way too many points.
Yeah, for only the second time in school history, the Feet step into the playoffs with a win.
I hated that.
I know you would.
It's so bad.
Well, what are you supposed to say?
Rex Ryan would love it. Upperman blows out White House 42-6. The Bees just doing what they do to most teams this year. There's a reason they're one of the favorites in 4A. They're my favorite in 4A at the current moment. They're just beating the crap out of teams right now, guys, and that's just what they do.
Yeah, they put a number on the Blue Devils defensively. They only allowed 5 first downs, and they put up 400 yards of total offense. But it was only 21-6 at the half. But the wheels came off in the second half. They were outscored 21-0. They gave up a pick six and a punt return for a score. Just not a great night for the Blue Devils.
White House Heritage, huge win over Stewart County. Xavier Murray goes off yet again, doing what he does every week. And he's a guy that should be in the Mr. Football conversation just because of what he does, it seems like, weekly.
Yeah, I mean, all he does is eat yards and poop touchdowns. I mean, this kid threw for 379 yards and 6 scores last night. I mean, he's so consistent. He's got to be in that discussion. Eric Lopez caught 3 of those and scored 3 touchdowns, 141 yards. And then you got Iron Brigade nominee Dason Springer, caught 118 yards receiving, 2 touchdowns, and then added 6 tackles and 2 interceptions.
It's scary because Murray is only a sophomore.
Yeah.
That's absurd.
Yeah.
Gallatin, Jackson Strope had a massive win as they honored the old Union High School last night, 48-13 win over Wilson Central.
Yeah, Straup, 186 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. Wilson Central is, they've struggled this year, and they're, but Gallatin really needed this win.
I believe that's it for last night. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all. That's as far as it goes. It hit the arrow and doesn't go any further.
Cam already dipped out. I think he's up in the mountains right now. So, Scott, we'll give you one last word on last night.
Well, last night, like I said, there were, a lot of surprising scores, a lot of very competitive games. It's just going to get better from here. And yes, Halloween is looming large for several teams in the area to have, regions decided. I think that it's going to be a fun next couple of weeks as we wind up the regular season.
Yeah, the scenes at Stewart's Creek last night were incredible. First half of that game was not a good football game. Neither team played well. They'll both admit that. But Stewart's Creek turned things around in the second half, and those scenes are what high school football is all about. They've never beaten Smyrna. They've never won a region title. They haven't technically won the region title yet, but a win next week I think clinches it. Stewart's Creek, that's a program that's on the rise. That's why I have the Creek has risen. Great, really good defensive team. Their only loss is to a Blackman team that's not bad at all. Really impressed by Stewart's Creek last night. Was happy to get to see those scenes, and that just really is what high school football is all about. So, Scott, shorter show today. I'm not mad about it.
No. Yeah, it's amazing what happens when the captain turn the boat around. We're doing fine.
I got a message from Cam. He since he was not able to give his thoughts, his final thoughts are pretty simple. I kind of echo them. We don't give a damn about the whole state of Alabama. Go Vols. So enjoy
right.
your college Saturday, guys. It's going to be a fun one. Go Irish. Play Georgia Tech in Atlanta. Scott, your Kentucky Wildcats are down in Florida, I believe.
I believe that's correct. I'm going to a high school game tonight. I'm going to go see a high school game, St. Joe's Philly against Roman Catholic. Supposed to be a good game.
Let me know what that linebacker that's committed to Notre Dame looks like.
I'll do it.
So, go Irish, go Vols. I'll be at Vandy tonight. Because why not? They play Ball State. So, get us your stats, guys. We've already got a lot of top performers we're already looking at. Rankings will be out tomorrow morning. Outside of that, enjoy your Saturday. Stay safe. Watch some football, and we'll see you guys on Wednesday.